Welcome to the Feature of the Week presented by Gamers R Us. This is Alex, and this week we're talking about Wasteland 2, the sequel to the first Wasteland game, released in 1988, which was a post-apocalyptic adventure game. Wasteland 2 is instead a squad-based RPG set in the post-apocalyptic future as well. If you want to think about its mechanics in a way, think about Shadowrun Returns if you've ever played it. You start by creating a squad of 4 soldiers. Each will have its own unique backstory and skills. You can create your own characters, or you can select from a list of pre-made ones. And I believe later on you'll be able to import your own portraits for your custom-made characters as well. The game seems to revolve around a number of open-ended areas connected with this large wasteland map here that I find actually quite interesting. Along the way, you can run into certain awesome things like an oasis, or into not so awesome things like nuclear radiation. It's the variability of the game that I think might be one of its more attractive aspects, as well as the tactical fighting and all of that. It really is a very, at least from my initial play, a very deep game. The fact that you have to traverse the map to go from area to area means that you're going to be running into, I'm guessing, a lot of random events. And I run into random places, so why not have random events? I mean, it's kind of almost the old Baldur's Gate mechanic, or older RPG mechanic rather, where you would be going from place to place and have a random encounter to create tension in the game. Now currently the game is, at least graphically, not that well optimized. I'm running this on a laptop with a GTX 760M and i7 processor and 16 gigs of RAM, and at times it really was stuck below the 20s in its frame rate. And frankly, changing the detail settings, changing the resolution, all that didn't do a whole lot to change performance. So I'm guessing it just might be an optimization. However, that really doesn't detract from the quality of the game. I mean, the gameplay style itself, you don't need to be running at 60 frames a second. 17 frames is playable, but of course not ideal. But on the other hand, there are areas where I was getting in the mid-30s. So it might just be certain areas which aren't optimized well, or I'm not quite sure. This game is still in beta. I haven't personally gotten that far, but in the future we're going to be streaming this on the Gamers R Us Twitch TV, so check that out. Now the one stickler here for me was the price point when I bought it, which was $60, for a beta, full price for the beta for this game. Now that's not to say it's a bad game, it's a good game, but I'm not quite sure, especially with a lot of other Kickstarter projects and indie game projects that have gone on Steam and the like and have been successful. A $60 price tag seems a bit steep. Now I'm not sure what's Brethren, Project Eternity and things like that, what those will sell for, but $60 for this game, while it's a good game, is, again, it may be too much for certain people. And really, I think the people that would be attracted to playing this in its current state are people that have a substantial amount of extra money to throw around. Maybe people who have both consoles and are planning on buying a Steam box. I would say that for most people this would not be a smart buy, at least currently. I mean, if it were $25, $30, maybe even $40, it would be a decent pickup. But in its current state, a full $60 price tag, lack of optimization and such, and there are bugs, obviously, and lack of features, it's just not worth it unless you really do have a lot of extra money to throw around. However, I am confident that 6 months, 9 months, a year down the line or so, when the game is actually released and all these bugs are ironed out, performance issues as well, that you will have a very, very good title on your hands. It'll be a lot of fun, and I can see from what they've done so far that they have created the basis for that. It's just right now spending $60, at least for most people, really is not a good idea.